Hello and welcome to our fourth video in this series. Now today we're going to be looking at ionic bonding, which is the bonding that happens between a metal and a non-metal. So let's have a look at our objectives for ionic bonding. So by the end of this video you should understand these two objectives. First of all, we're going to be looking at how ions are formed, and then we're going to look at how the formation of an ionic bond occurs. Okay, so what we're going to look at here is how an atom becomes an ion. Now, we're going to take this atom, and this atom is actually going to be a sodium atom. And what we're going to do is we're only going to focus on this outer shell of electrons. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the two inner shells. Okay, so all we're focused on now is the outer electron. Now this outer electron, okay, wants to leave. Now the idea is to have the outermost shell, which was the third shell in. So if we put that one back in, sorry, it was the second shell. So if we put that one back in, okay, now the idea is to get that as to be the outermost shell. So what happens is this electron leaves the atom and it becomes a charged particle. Now if you remember back to when we did electronic configuration, the electronic configuration will now be, for the sodium, it will be 2, 8. Okay, now that means we've got 10 electrons, but there are 11 protons in here. So this means that the sodium atom has a charge of +1. Okay, now if we move along to group 2, now the number of electrons in the outer shell should be 2 electrons. Now what happens with these 2 electrons is these two move away. Okay. Now, if this is in the same period as the sodium, okay, so we've got the 3 shells, then it will too have the electronic configuration 2, 8. Okay, the same as the sodium did. Now, because this is magnesium, we've got 12 protons in here and we've lost 2 electrons. We've got 10 electrons left, so we end up with a charge of +2 for the magnesium. Okay, now we've looked at 2 examples of positive ions. We're now going to look at a couple of examples of negative ions. Now we can see here by the number of electrons that we've got 2 in this first shell, 1, 2, and then we've got 7 in this outer shell. So in group 7 and in period 2 we have fluorine. Now again, the same as the metals, we want to get the outer shell full. Now whereas we were losing electrons before, now we're actually trying to gain an electron. So what will happen is an electron from another atom will come in and we'll get a new electronic configuration. So here we've still got the 2, 8 electronic configuration, but because we've got this extra electron, so we've got 9 protons in here and now 10 electrons in the outside, we're going to have a charge of -1. Okay. Okay, so we'll look at our last example. Now again, we can identify this atom because of the number of electrons. We've got the 2 in the first shell, and then we've got 6 in the outer shell. So it's in period 2 and group 6. Now again, we want to fill that outer shell of electrons, so that we put 1, 2 to get that full outer shell. Now we should be able to work out that this is oxygen. Okay, so we've got 8 protons in the nucleus here, and now we've got 10 electrons. So the electronic configuration we've got is 2, 8, as we've seen before, but because we've got 8 protons in the middle and now we've got 10 electrons, that charge will actually be -2. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is how we actually get an ionic bond forming. Now we can see we've got 2 elements. We've got a metal here, and we can tell that it's in period 2 because we've got the 2 shells, and it's in group 1. And because it's got 3 electrons, it's lithium. And on this side we've got again period 2, and we've also got the 7 electrons in the outer shell, so we've got fluorine. Now when these two react, the electron that we need to fill this space here on the fluorine comes from the lithium. So what happens is this electron moves over to here. Okay, now we can show this being bonded together by putting the two ions in a square bracket. Now the lithium is positive and the fluorine is negative, and this is how we show an ionic bond. Now we can also work out what the formula is. So the formula would be lithium fluoride. Now in our second example we can look here. We've got 2 electrons in the outer shell and 2 electron shells, so this will be beryllium. And then we've got 6 electrons in the outer shell, and again 2 shells, so this time we have oxygen. Now again we want to get rid of the electrons over here and put them over here, so that we've got 2 shells which are full. So again we put them in the square brackets to show them, and this is going to be 2 plus, and this will be 2 minus. So this gives us again a formula of BeO. Now our final example of ionic bonding that we are going to look at in this lesson is where we look at again an oxygen atom that we've got here on this side, and we've got a lithium atom on this side. Now what happens is we have 1 electron, and that moves from here to the oxygen. Now we've got 1 lithium atom that's got a full outer shell, but our oxygen is not full, so we need to get another lithium atom to get that electron to fill the 2 shells. So again we need to put our square brackets, so we've got 2 lithium atoms here which are both positive, and then we've got our oxygen ion which is 2 negative. Now if we look, we've got 1, 2 lithium, so our symbol will be Li2O. Okay, so we've had a look at how to show the electrons being accepted and donated. Now, what I'd like you to do is pause the video or wait till the video is finished and go back to find this part of the video and work out the formula for each of these 5 different ionic compounds. Okay, so we've got sodium chloride, magnesium oxide, aluminium chloride and aluminium oxide. I will warn you, aluminium oxide is a tricky one. Anyway, good luck. Okay, so we come to the end of our video on ionic bonding. So we've looked at how we form an ion by either losing or donating or gaining or accepting electrons. We've looked at how an ionic bond's formed, and we've also looked at the charges that are associated with those changes, and I'm hoping that you've had a go at those problems as well, and you'll need those in class next time. Anyway, enjoy yourselves and I'll see you next time. Bye.